I can't be the only person in the world who believes video games may have saved their life. When in my adolescent testosterone-fueled rage, I would not go out on the streets and mug an old lady for their change jar and hairpiece that I would keep on a shelf above my bed as a trophy. Oh no, I was much too good for that. Instead, I would throw on San Andreas and shoot up the entire city, killing thousands until I was stopped in a glorious hail of bullets. And now I'm a decent member of society. Sort of. So now that I'm unemployed and a shotgun and ski mask short from performing a series of bank heists, I stumble across Payday 2. I'm sure you're wondering how this game could have saved my life. Well, first off, it costs as much as a ski mask, which puts off the bank heist for a few weeks, but also it taught me a few valuable lessons. Firstly, unless you have a network that allows you access to everyone who's bought a bootleg DVD, never mind those in organised crime, then you'd better stick to picking up pennies on the streets, otherwise the police will show up and shoot your ass. Secondly, unless you have enough people to detain several rooms of civilians in one go, then you'd better keep eating cold beans out of a can, otherwise the police will show up and shoot your ass. The list does go on, but if I tell you every good reason not to commit an armed crime, then the police will probably show up and, yep, shoot your ass. Anywho, Payday 2 is a direct sequel of Payday the Heist, with 1,000 new tweaks and additions to the mechanics, but still keeping to the core concepts of teamwork, camaraderie and greed. The core wording there being teamwork and camaraderie, because unless you have a schedule of playing with your friends every night between 7 and 10, then you'd better hope to God that you're not playing with some 13-year-old kid who thinks it's cool to storm into a building all guns blazing, and then cries when nobody helps him up from rushing headlong into a group of armed police officers. Don't get me wrong, I am all for teamwork and think it's a brilliant idea in games, but when I've had enough of human interaction, I would like the ability to shut off from online play and have a good time by myself. Payday 2 on the other hand has another idea of fun offline play. You can either be completely on your own, which is ridiculously hard as you don't have enough bullets, nor do you have enough eyes to watch every entry point that the police will try and breach, but on the other hand, the interaction with the AI teammates is non-existent. The AI follow you around as if you're taking them for a walk, and if they stray more than 3 meters away, a shot collar sends your teammates running back to your side. They do help in the fact they can do all the shooting, which is great if your accuracy is the gaming equivalent of absolute zero, but I would have liked the ability to load them up like pack mules with bags, instead of having to waste my time running back and forth to the escape vehicle 9 goddamn times. Payday 2 does add a large range of missions, which each host variables like extra guards or a boarded up window here or there, though you do find yourself playing through the same levels over and over again, which is fun at first, but I think a true story mode is needed in this game. There are some really awesome missions which will take 3 days in game, but it just means 3 consecutive missions in order to get a larger payoff. You will need a full team for this and to have leveled up a bit in order to have a fighting chance at some of these missions. The level up system works off how much money you gain from each mission, which allows you to unlock a career path whether you want to be the suave leader or the guy who cracks the safe. Though a lot of the skills are as useful as sticking up a bank with a spatula, and it's a case of trial and error to what you think will work best. You could just spend 10 minutes on some forward planning however, and not end up on the world's dumbest criminals. It is a bank heist game after all, but I have the patience of a starving Rottweiler with a full bladder when it comes to rushing into the action. You also need a lot of cash to level up and buy new guns, but for some reason, I always feel I'm short on funds. What's that, James? You want a new gun and some cool attachments? Yes, you have 3 million in your offshore's account, but you see, it's a savings account and you can't access it until the year 2019. After playing for a few days straight, I've had to take a break as blood has replaced my eye's natural lubrication, but I have noticed that the missions do change up from day to day, which adds a longer lifespan to the game. I do have problems with Payday 2's price tag, no pun intended. I think if you're going to make a game and sell it for the top of its price range, then it should at least come a little bit more polished and with a coherent story in which to work through. But as it stands, Payday 2 seems like an online section of a game that we are still yet to see. Even if the missions in the game were set out in a specific order to ground the gamer in a slight timeline, it would have made the game a greater experience, and not feel like a night on Revie Coladas, a stream of random events with no coherent connection between them. Hopefully more of a story than you're hired by this mad Russian to do his dirty work will emerge, but only time will tell. Maybe we will be graced with a story mode on DLC, but ironically, you'd probably have to rob a bank to be able to afford it. What's his name? Slenderman, who, like, you know, tried to eat some trifle.
What just got it all around his mouth? So his arms were too, like, jelly-like for him to actually manage to shovel it into his mouth.